Good morning.
Good morning.
¿Cómo estás? Estoy bien.
¿Cómo estás?
Estoy bien. ¿Y tú?
¿Por qué?
I said, I'm doing well. How are you?
Sorry, I didn't make it past my Spanish class in high school.
I can tell.
Yeah.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Está cerca de la oficina de...
Talking about libraries out here?
Yeah, I'm asking where the library is.
I was going to say, está cerca de la oficina de... I don't know. Just like some
Well,
shit.
Point is, why the library when you have Zaid K. de Hodge's books?
I know, right?
You know?
He has a
Why?
point.
Why 1.5 million books in one public library?
When you
for
can
one
just
city?
use my brain with infinite knowledge. I mean,
Speaking of which, he has a special offer code for 15% off. Got the Zades.
Yeah.
Is this...
Catchin' Zades.
Catchin' Zades
Bookstore
for
near you.
15% off.
I'm gonna write an autobiography called Catchin' Zades.
Yeah. How to surf
My
the,
life story. How brave and courageous I was.
surf the waves of viruses.
Name it Catcher in the Zades.
Catcher in the Zades. Lord of the Zades. What was another high school?
Grapes of Zades.
Grapes of Zades. What was the other one? There was another one that one dude that like travels a lot.
Oh, that one dude.
That
That
one dude
travels
has a
lot?
point.
Yeah,
that
you know what I'm
travels a
talking
lot.
about?
Is he on Vimeo or YouTube?
No, he's actually on what is it? Daily something. I forgot what it was.
What
There's
book are you
another site,
referring to?
Daily Motion. There we go.
What book are you talking
Daily
about? The
Motion.
guy who travels a lot.
There was a book I mean, it was required in high school, but it was about this guy that basically decided to be homeless. He had the option to, and he just decided to do it and travel on foot in any way possible.
Dalton
So
Weeks.
No, not Dalton Weeks.
Oh.
He doesn't
Sounds like
travel-
some Dalton shit.
He doesn't
though.
travel on foot though. Well, the bike.
The
to be
bike, yeah.
fair.
He did travel on foot.
I
Where?
forgot the movie.
He backpacked from Russia to Africa.
It's like called In the Wild.
Dude,
What?
he was. You didn't know that?
No.
Wait, what?
Dude, he told us a story in Costa Rica where he basically got kidnapped.
How did he not
In
bring that up
Morocco.
on the podcast?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he has a lot of stories. So.
I know, but
He's only been
being-
on
okay.
2 times.
being kidnapped in Morocco seems like it'd be a pretty good story.
Yeah,
we
but
need to
that's
get
how
him
much.
back on.
That's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
much
Okay,
experience
okay.
he
We'll
has.
see you soon,
Pet-
Dalton.
petition to have him back on because we're gonna have him back on. But I
Bobo
want to see
kicking
how many of
horse.
you guys are excited for this. Yeah, but Into the Wild.
Oh, the one they made the movie.
Yes.
They made a movie about it.
Yeah, they did.
I didn't watch that movie.
I
But
don't think I had to read that book in high school.
Yeah, I mean, I did go to high school in a different time, I
Oh.
guess. But
Like we had the Hatchet in high school, if you remember that.
the
What?
Hatchet. Yeah.
Yeah, we had the Hatchet.
the fuck was the Hatchet?
We had obviously The Great Gatsby.
Fahrenheit 451.
We didn't
What?
actually have to read that in high school. That was not a required reading.
You don't know Fahrenheit 451?
No, I do.
No,
But
I'm
what does
aware.
that have to
That's
do with?
Ray Bradbury, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the?
It's like the dystopian reality.
Okay.
What actually society's
Yeah.
emulating it in a lot of ways.
It's like
Funny enough.
it's a clash of Dune and Idiocracy at the same time.
Dune?
Yeah.
Do you mean Doom with an M?
No, Dune.
Oh, okay.
Dune.
Sorry.
Dune is a great book.
Yeah, it's like a dystopian. It's another. There's a movie coming out actually.
Oh, we had
about
the what was it? The Apprentice. What was that book? You were really hyped about it the other day, like a month or 2 back. I'm trying to remember what it was.
The Profession?
No, The Alchemist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had The
Oh, that's a
Alchemist in
classic.
high school
Yeah.
too. Do we have any other good ones that I remember?
Is The Alchemist a good read?
Oh,
Like
it's
it's
amazing.
actually. I think it. I heard
amazing.
it's a necessary read.
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
anything.
everybody should read that book.
Okay.
Even if you don't
Follow-
like get the audiobook if you don't
Yeah.
even like, reading. It's just a good tale, some good life lessons,
Yeah.
stuff like
Follow
that.
your bliss.
That's good.
I remember
The Alchemist.
there's a couple good books that we had to read in high school. I'm trying to remember what.
I remember Lord of the Flies. I really enjoyed. to be
Lord of the
honest.
Flies was pretty good.
Because it goes to show you it's more than these kids. It's about society.
Oh, we also had to read Animal Farm. Yeah.
Animal Farm.
Yeah, do you remember
Yeah.
that one? I think it had something to do with
Oh.
was it the Bolshevik uprising or something to do with communist Russia coming
Yeah,
to power?
Yes.
Or
and then-
something like that.
Yeah. Many characters were dying off.
It's very
yeah.
symbolic. I think Dead Prez made a song on that.
Dead Prez?
Yeah. They made a really cool. I need to re-listen to
Is
it.
Dead
but
Prez a group?
It's a rap group.
So it's like
Mhm.
Nas or not Nas. Nas is a group, right?
No, Nas
No,
is
Nas
one
was a
guy.
guy.
One guy? God
Yeah,
damn it,
no.
dude.
That is a tism right there.
Yeah,
Nasty
that is a
Nas.
tism. Listen, dude.
Easy E.
Okay, here's a question though.
Yes.
What's your favorite book outside of high school?
Outside of high school?
Non-mandatory reading.
Shoe Dog.
Shoe Dog by Phil Knight?
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you guys read
Story
it?
of Nike?
No.
Oh my god. Dude, what a great book. What a great book to like read and reread too. Honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any books that are like necessary reads that I read outside of high school because I wasn't much of a reader. Like that wasn't my forte.
Mhm.
But I mean, when I was younger, if you want like a fantasy series, I guess I wasn't into Harry Potter. I wasn't into any of those like things. I was into something called Pendragon. It was a 10 series book
Ooh.
written by DJ McHale or Michelle. I forget how do you pronounce it, but yeah, like my friend and I, we were super into it when we were growing up, and there were some pretty good stories in there, like some really cool shit that was going
Yeah.
on.
Mm.
It's like about these group of people called travelers, and they look over after these different territories, which are just different planets, right?
Mhm.
And they try to keep balance on them. And so there's like, they have Earth, which I think they called it was just Earth. They had Earth 1, 2, and 3, if I remember correctly. 2 was like present day.
Mhm.
1 was like back in the time of the Hindenburg. That was actually what they dealt with, was the Hindenburg crashing. And then the third one's like in the distant future.
Mm.
And everything's great on Earth 3 in the beginning of it. It's like a perfect utopia style scenario. Like the majority of housing's underground. Like
Yeah.
they figured out cleaner ways to travel. Like, they got rid of all the, gasoline and all that shit.
That really sets the tone for me. Everything underground.
Yeah.
Oof.
Like when you first go there, or like when you read the book and he first goes to like Earth 3 or whatever they call it,
Mhm.
like Terra 3 or some shit, you're like, oh man. Like it makes you hopeful for the future. You're like, this could be really good if we
Yeah.
play our cards right. But yeah.
There was I miss like book series like that where they used to come out. There was one specific one I remember, and it was kind of like the way it was presented was this girl would go to a treehouse, and there's a new book for her to read every single time.
Oh, what is that? Oh, don't tell me what.
You know what I'm
isn't
talking
that the
about.
Magic Treehouse?
No,
I
no,
swear
that
to God
Magic
it
Tree-
is.
Is it the magic?
I swear to God it is. I thought they went into a treehouse, or they went into the treehouse and they had different books.
Yeah, and then you would dive into the book.
Yeah, that was the
with
Magic
them.
Treehouse. I'm
That's
like,
what it's called?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I
Damn
don't
it.
even know if I know what that
I don't
is.
remember what it's called, but
That's
I
a
remember that very
throwback.
Yeah.
Throwback. Yeah.
Those were good books.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Wasn't Goosebumps a book? Like, didn't
Yeah,
they
they
make
had
Yeah,
a
that
series.
was a cool book series in like middle school too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It like introduced you to horror at a young age. which
Yeah, I
was dope.
remember.
And then they
it.
also had the TV show, which was super sick when it first came out.
Yeah.
If you go back, it's so 90s cheesy.
Yeah. I
but
still
like,
have them recorded on a VHS, dude.
Oh my god.
And I'm glad I recorded actually a lot back when I was a kid,
mhm.
because now I go back and not only do I see my favorite shows, right? You get the nostalgia feel of the VHS, but at the same time, there were still commercials on cable. So I get
That's
to see
true.
all the old commercials that were forgotten, dude.
Mhm.
And then you can go back and be like, dude, I'm gonna post this on Instagram for like nostalgia. Right here. You guys remember this? Oh my god, are those Play-Doh sets?
I think one of the weirdest moments in nostalgia, like I don't know if you guys have had an experience like this, but apparently my grandma, she just moved out, right?
Yes.
And then like she was giving out some things here and there, left and right. And one of the things that we got was a old projector from like the 50s or
Ooh.
60s, right? So you open the box, it just smells of cancer, like just horrible chemicals for you, like old, musty, dusty, like true American industrialism from like the 50s or 60s,
Yeah,
right?
I can smell it.
And so it's super heavy too. It's probably like 15, 20 pounds, this projector. You pop it up, plug it in. The original light bulb, cable, electric, all works great.
Wow.
Like no problem.
Very surprised.
It
Yeah.
gets hot as shit though. So like you have to be careful with some of those slides because they're all made out of paper.
Mm.
So yeah. But it's like, you put them in, you slide it in, and you look at these photos, and it's like, I think my grandfather died when I was like 4, my dad's dad, when I was 4. And like my earliest memory is actually his funeral, weirdly enough.
Oh.
But like I don't need to get
Yeah.
into that. But no, I'm like looking at photos of my grandfather, like, and I never really knew him. And there's like just photos of him at like one of his brother's houses, like diving in the pool,
Yeah.
like just kicking it with a beer and like a lawn chair, like just all old school shit.
I have a lot of those pictures.
It's just weird because, as an individual, like especially as like a son or like a daughter, or just like a child, right? You look at your parents as parents and like you don't think of them having a life,
Mhm.
like outside of them being
Mhm.
your parents, right? Like they were people. They have a bunch of shit that they've never told you and probably never will,
Mhm.
Just
right?
like us.
And
Yeah.
that extends like to your grandparents, and like especially because I never knew my grandfather, like just seeing him be a person, right?
Yeah.
Through photo, it's like looking at a ghost.
It's
Mhm.
trippy.
Yeah.
You can almost feel an essence too. It's weirdly enough you can through projectors and just looking at that. It's the whole atmosphere, I think.
Hmm.
And I don't know about you guys, but it kind of worries me when we eliminate the process of things.
Like what?
Like things like record players, projectors, negative film,
When you
you
say
know?
projectors, you mean like a film projector, not a modern day, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's the action of it. So, viewing a photo today, you just pull out your phone,
Yeah.
view a photo. Before, you had to actually pull out the suitcase, 20 pounds, take it out, plug it in, make sure you know what slides you want to look at, put that in, let it warm up and heat up, and like all that stuff. And you do all that process just to view an image. You're doing all that just so that your eye can make contact and just be like, I recognize that. Cool.
Also, it was super cool because like, you could project it onto the wall. It's a projector, right?
Hmm.
So it's not like you're looking at this little thing, like a little photograph in your hands. It's like a big blown up image on the wall. And what's also cool is like those old film photos. I don't know how they process them
Hmm.
because they're all like these little Kodak slides, right? They
Yeah.
say like Kodak like 1 cent slide or something like that. And then it's like when they project onto the wall, they're almost 3D. Like they have such a layer of depth, like
Yeah.
for each, 15 to 20
Mhm.
foot space behind whatever's in focus. Like
The RGB coloring is completely different.
it's so
It,
saturated, warm,
yeah.
good. Like it's
Hmm.
just
Good
I
times.
feel I
yeah.
feel like you definitely value the pictures more or whatever you're
You
shooting.
do. Anytime, I think anytime there's like a process of like, okay, this is no longer going to take seconds. This takes setting up or preparing to do such a simple task, right? I want to listen to music. Okay, let's pick out a record. Cool. Make sure the needle's clean. Put it on. Spin it. There you go. Now you're listening to music. Now it's like, dude, what was that one song? Oh, I found it.
Also was what was cool
Like,
about like the records was back in the day, like you better make an album that was good beginning to end. Because otherwise you're like picking up the needle, gotta find that specific ring. You're like, okay, I know this is the start of the song. You put it down, and you're like, fuck, this is the wrong one. So you pick it back up, move it over to that
yeah,
other one, then one over, you're like, this has gotta be it.
yeah,
Put it down, it's like playing for a second, you're like, okay, this is it. Like we
yeah,
got it. And then you just keep playing with that.
yeah.
Because that's annoying as shit.
Hmm.
So it's like back in the day, you had to have relatively speaking, like a pretty good album from beginning to end, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's air quote laborious to move around the needle from like point to point,
Mm.
like a pain in the ass. But like you said, nowadays it's just like, I like this song on this album on Spotify. I have everything I'd ever need.
But yeah.
Press that shit, sign, seal, deliver.
What do you
I'm
think
yours.
that's doing to us, though?
I don't
As
know if that's
individuals?
doing
I think it's
anything
doing
to
anything to
I
us.
don't know if it's doing anything to us in like the sense that I think you're trying to relate it to. If that
Yeah.
makes
I think it makes us very, very short term trained,
Well, yeah, but I mean, here's the funny thing: like, you
like
can
short
take
term memory.
you can take your iPhone and put on burst mode and grab 100 pictures in like what 20 to 30 seconds.
like 10 seconds.
Mhm.
But the funny thing is, I see the trend of like older forms of taking pictures coming back. Like you have the Polaroid cameras coming back in a newly designed fashion.
Mhm.
So I feel like when the pendulum swings this far, at least with technology or anything else, it inevitably has to go back and find some balance.
I have a theory as to why they're coming back, and it has a lot to do with like our generation specifically,
Mhm.
right? Like obviously the older generations, like they remember having those cameras, they remember using them, but they accepted digital like with open arms, like with no problem, right? Because it makes sense.
Yeah.
We had to.
It's just getting
we were
updated.
born into it.
No, it just makes sense because you can take more pictures more frequently,
Yeah.
like, and you don't have to go and get them developed now. You can just look at them on a screen,
Mhm.
right? It's all convenience, right? But our generation, like, we don't really have an identity for the most part. Like, our identity lies in a digital sphere, right? That if at the press of a button, hypothetically, could all be deleted in a moment, right?
It's very scary. But
So we try to find like some form of identity, something that feels unique to us. And so what we're doing is like what almost all generations do is they recycle stuff from the past,
Mhm.
right? And now since we have a lot of means to replicate those technologies, it's a lot easier now. In some cases it can be cheaper like than it not than it was back in the day, but you know, it's like it's cheap enough to the point where people want to bring it back. You got the film, you got the Polaroids, like you were talking about, and it creates that aesthetic. We're the
Yeah.
generation of
Aesthetic.
aesthetic,
We
right?
didn't live it, but we're gonna build it again. Yeah.
Exactly. But it's like our aesthetic for the most part is just recycled from other generations.
Mhm.
So I think that's a reason why it's coming back. We're trying to grab onto something that we wish we could have experienced to some degree, right?
Mhm.
Like you didn't like everything that was going on in the 50s for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But like, you know, cameras were dope. Like I like the way the film stock looks.
Yeah.
So we'll take that. I like the way that they dressed in the 80s.
Mhm.
You know, I didn't like a lot of the violence and shit that was happening. We'll take the clothing from that generation.
Yeah, it's a
You
good
know,
point.
That's a very good point. I think that kind of marks
Bell
it.
bottom jeans
Yeah.
and stuff coming back.
or it's especially like the 80s colors. Those came in like the early 2000s, like
Mhm.
the 2000s to 2010s.
Yeah.
Like remember it was all neon, like
Mhm.
the LMFAO, party rock anthem, like neon. Let's get
Yeah,
lit,
leopard print
YOLO,
stuff.
like all
Yeah.
that shit, right?
Yeah.
It's just gonna be trippy to see like 20 to 40 years from now.
Yeah, and
Like,
here's the
what
thing.
is the culture going to be like?
And how distracted are you going to be? Like, are you going to follow the process and just realize what's happening every year? Or are you just going to wake up in 20 years and be like, whoa,
Here I am.
here I am. Like, okay, I just finished my mission. And now that I'm aware, whoa, what's going on? And that sadly happens.
I mean, yeah, it happens with a lot of people, of course.
Yeah.
Some people they just get into that groove, you know, where they're like, I'm in my space, I'm happy, like I don't really care about what's going on. It doesn't affect me too much. And then,
Mhm.
like you said, they wake up 40 years later and they're like, holy shit.
Yeah. And that you can see that happen with our parents, kind of.
Yeah. It's like you have to think like some of our grandparents are old enough to remember horse and buggies.
Mm-hmm. Dude.
What the fuck?
One of my favorite people was my econ professor. Or sorry, philosophy professor at Irvine Valley College.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He was a lot of the people didn't like his style because he was too calm, right?
Yeah.
So it was a 7 a.m. class, so people just dropped it. And at the end of the semester, it was me and like 5 dudes. And we were the only ones that were like hyped about it, right?
Jeez.
Something about him remembering a lot of things from Orange. He's been in Orange County since he was a kid.
Wow.
He never left. So he knows the history, the ins and outs, the things that have happened, the people that were kicked out, the people that came in, what
Mhm.
cities used to be, how they used to be run, how districts formed, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And just listening to that is insane because it's so pinpointed. It's pinpointed at a specific area, and he's seen it, and he is now 82 years old.
Gives you context too.
What the hell? Yeah. He shaped it different. I'm like, dude, there's no way Orange County was like that. Like, imagine this is how I know it. And it has changed from the time I was born till now. I've been here my entire life. What the hell? You can go back even farther and it will just build a different atmosphere. Completely different. And it's really nice talking to older people.
They just have a different perspective, man, because they've been through the ringer. I mean, like, if you manage to make it that long,
Mhm.
like throughout our history, that's impressive, right? Because think about it. When he was born, he probably went through World War II.
Mhm.
They had the Vietnam War, and I like to just go through wars because it's like kind of gives you like a good
It gives you
timeline.
exactly, you
Yeah,
know exactly where
yeah.
it is.
It's
Yeah.
like they had Vietnam. Before that, I think they had Korea. So World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Persian Gulf War, went into Iraq, like
Mhm.
saw all of that. And then he saw the societal change in Orange County, right? Like when he was born, the majority of Orange County was essentially like just desert,
Yeah. pretty
right?
much.
Like I think they had LA at that point.
It was Black Star Canyon.
Yeah, they had
That was Orange
LA,
County.
San Francisco,
Yeah.
San Diego might have been starting at that point, like, and I think they had Sacramento as well.
Mhm.
So like that's when he was growing up, and he watched all of that change into like Irvine, Fullerton, Anaheim, Orange, like
Yeah.
the entirety of LA County come in.
That is insane.
Yeah. I mean, he was born, like, put this into perspective. He was born when Compton was an all-white neighborhood.
Holy
my
shit.
God.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, Compton was all white, and then they what is it called? Blockbusting, I think is the term for it. It's a horrible,
Yeah,
like
it's a horrible
super
term, but
super racist practice if you
yeah,
know about it.
I do. It's in real estate.
That's where realtors back in the day.
It's like gentrification,
It's very illegal to do nowadays, but no, it's the exact
the exact opposite.
I guess because they would go to your house and say like, "Oh, just to let you know," and keep in mind this is like in the 30s or 40s. They would go to your door and be like, "Just to let you know, there's going to be a lot of undesirables moving into the neighborhood
Yeah.
and your property value is going to diminish. So you're going to want to
Jesus.
sell now." Right?
Mhm.
It's terrible.
I would love like if we could have this a time lapse of every city throughout like a 50 to 60 year span.
Like if there's
That would
just
be a trip
Yeah.
to
like
watch.
how cool would it be if there was just a drone planted above California for like 80 to 90 years and you just watched
Yeah.
it change over that span in
Oh
like
my god,
a 5-minute video.
dude, SpaceX could do that for us. Google Earth can do that for us.
Dude, have you seen, sorry, speaking of SpaceX, have
Yeah.
you seen their satellites going around Earth? It is so trippy.
Like
to
a live
watch.
video of them.
No,
Actually,
I've seen them.
From watching the sky.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen them fly overhead. I thought it was like a military or like some alien shit.
Bob Lazar.
No, when I saw them for real, because it's like it was 7 dots in the sky that were basically in a straight line, just like traveling overhead, and they were super bright. Like it was very obvious.
yeah.
You knew it was like
I have not seen that actually.
it was
surprisingly.
so.
How did you
weird.
confirm that?
Because I looked at it and I'm like, holy shit! And then I Google 7 lights in a straight line, and then it was a photo of the Starlink or whatever they're
Mm.
calling it system in
Okay.
the sky.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And so what's cool is well, you can, this is either cool or not cool depending on who you are as a person, but like over time his entire goal is to have those things be in the sky like within view 24/7, like a spider web of those things going around the entire earth.
That is sick.
And the reason why he wants that is because it'll deliver high-speed internet like faster than anything that you can get currently for the entire planet. So you could be in like the middle of sub-Saharan Africa and just pop out your little Neuralink thing, and it's like, oh yeah, now I've got 4K or I've got like a 2 to 3 gigabyte download speeds.
Yeah.
in the middle of the desert.
Dude, oh my god. Okay, so here, you know how The Simpsons has been predicting things?
Yeah.
They don't, they don't miss.
Apparently,
that.
from what I've seen, they don't miss.
So someone referenced. I remember like a couple months ago, someone referenced the Simpsons movie, and it was the part where they put the bubble on top of the
Oh,
city.
the giant dome.
And they said that this is going to be happening within 2022. Someone predicted that, like it was on TikTok or something.
Mm-hmm.
When you said that right now, just constant spiderweb moving, this could very much be Elon's idea. And then all of a sudden, we're in this snow globe of a fucking Earth.
Oh my god.
Well, the crazy thing is, like, apparently the way he wants to do it, you're like, wouldn't that like f up his whole rocket business, like getting in and out of the atmosphere? Apparently not, because each of those satellites they have like little thrusters on them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when you're going up, they'll just move out of the way,
Yeah.
and then once you're through, they'll like reconvene back into their
Well,
original
how many
position.
satellites are we talking about? Like
Thousands.
to the point where you'll have a problem differentiating. Like
To the point where you'll look up in the sky and see straight lines of just like dotted lights in the sky, like as a web, like think of like a basketball net mesh. Imagine that around the entire planet. Like that's what he's
Dude,
going for.
Jesus.
If they don't change their rocket name to Moses,
it's
he
the
s-
Moses rocket,
He splits the
It's the
satellites.
Moses engine,
Yeah.
the Moses
the
engine.
Moses thruster.
Just the thruster goes off, and then the rocket's just about to launch, and all of a sudden, it just
Dude,
straight line one just moves out of the way.
Speaking of, let's talk about how Jeff Bezos
Jeff
What
Bezos.
about
is
him?
on his or wants to go to space. I
He's
think
going.
it's planned for
No,
this
yeah, he's
month.
going. It's
Yeah, he's going.
planned.
It's in 2 years, right?
No, I thought it was like
No,
within
this,
a month.
This month.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, he's
Either
taking
June
it
or
real
July.
serious.
Wow.
with
And
his
is this
brother.
a test trial? Because if he dies, we're
I mean,
My
it's
God.
definitely a risk, but
That's a huge risk.
he
Are you
said-
kidding me?
he's talked about how when he was a child, like he's always wanted to go to space. So
I mean,
and if
we
you're a
all have.
billionaire,
Has Blue Origin even sent people into space yet?
no.
no.
Yeah,
It's the first takeoff. That's why I'm like, what?
I don't think they've actually entered orbit. Blue Origin, if I'm not mistaken, they've gone to the point where they can enter orbit, but they go up and then
Yeah.
they just came back down,
Yeah.
like what SpaceX does. For their
Back to the
tests.
origin.
Then that's a super big risk.
Yeah, right.
I guess he's just, you know what? I'm getting older. Fuck it, trying to fulfill a
He's
childhood
getting
dream.
older. He backed out of Amazon. Amazon's about to get dismantled.
What if that's his plan? He's just like, you know what? I might die doing this, but
No, dude, you know what? Jeff Bezos knew some shit. there was definitely some insider information getting tossed around because
Yeah.
apparently Amazon's about to get split up, and he sold his majority share like a couple months back.
If you have that much
Yeah,
clout,
I heard.
So-
definitely.
Dude, he should make his own coin. Just call it pesos.
Pesos. Apparently, everyone should make their own coin.
You like that one? Huh?
PEZO
Yeah,
is the indicator.
Yeah, PEZO.
Pesos.
Go 40,000.
Oh, like pesos.
Yeah.
That's really clever. I like that a lot.
You just got
It just
I was-
connected. For
I
me.
thought it clicked already.
Bro, this guy.
Thank you.
But yeah,
It's fun. No, that's crazy shit though. Like at least with SpaceX, they've now proven that they can get people into space and out of space back onto Earth.
Mhm.
And they're about to do a commercial flight, right? If I'm not mistaken,
mm-hmm.
with like a group of civilians, which is super sick. Like, isn't that kind of that's crazy? Can we take a step back for a minute, like just or evaluate how insane of a concept that is?
It's magic.
Like within our lifetimes, if we have enough money, that is, like us three can hop on a rocket ship.
Yeah.
Like, let me say that again: a rocket ship, and jump into space and get to anywhere on the planet within like an hour and a half.
I love it because I
Dude.
firmly believe that air travel is so fucking slow these
Dude,
days.
can you
Even though-
imagine?
that shows how privileged we are.
No, but think it was
It's like a 6-hour plane ride from, for example, when I got from Costa Rica to the U.S. Like it's a 6-7 hour plane ride.
But it was like 60 years ago when people were landing on the moon for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time.
It took less time to get from the first pedal bike to the first motorcycle than it did from the first airplane to the first rocket ship that actually flew people
And
into space.
Actually, airplanes are very outdated.
How so?
They don't change much of the interiors. What they do, what I hear from companies like Boeing,
Mm-hmm.
is they focus more on material on the outside,
Yes.
engine hardware,
It's like
things like that.
safety.
Yes, and actually, most engines and things like that are still pretty old. So
You mean the concept behind the
the
engines?
concept behind it,
Yeah.
yes. So I don't know if you guys saw, but there's the new sonic boom planes.
For
It's
Boeing.
a
Oh,
new
you mean
company?
you're talking about the ones that are going to travel faster than the speed of
No,
sound?
it's for
Yes.
Boeing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Is this from
Boeing.
Boeing?
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Boeing's developing them. They're
Okay.
making like 20 or 27 or something like
Yeah,
that. Of
I
them.
forgot what airlines have signed up so far, but there's a couple, and I think starting next year they're gonna start maybe using it for specific flights, and you can cut down. Like New Jersey to London is now 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I think it was like LA to Tokyo is under
6
3
and a half.
hours. No, it's under 3. I think.
No, it's under
No,
3.
no. So I saw the chart yesterday. 3.5 hours was from specifically New Jersey to London. America, was it California? I remember
Probably
uh,
LAX.
LAX.
I mean, it
believe.
cuts it in half.
LAX
so
to Japan is no longer 10 plus hours. It is now 6 hours and a half under.
yeah, that's pretty amazing. It's
Which
pretty
is-
fucking amazing.
Dude, that's a straight half shot. Like,
Well, do you know how they work? It's pretty crazy. So you know how normal planes they fly at what is it like? Is it 20,
Fi-
40,000,
feet in the air?
24,000? I'm forgetting what the exact height is.
Yes. So at takeoff, I believe it is around 10,000. And then after
What's
that, it
cruising
doubles.
altitude?
Cruising altitude is probably around 40.
Okay, so like 40.
Yeah.
This one's aiming to go. I think those planes they go up to like 60 or 70K.
Okay. So they're even more
And so,
above.
yeah, they're more above, and they also, I mean, there's less air particles up there, so they're more easily able to break the sound barrier.
Ah.
So they go to a higher altitude, which allegedly you could see almost the edge of space. And
Ooh.
then, you're just cruising at like Mach 1.5 or like.
You see that little halation of light at the. Oh,
Mm.
The thing is, those
So zesty.
those supersonic jets, it's all going to be first class. I don't think there's going to be such.
They're
thing
gonna
as
be
economy.
There will
expensive
not
tickets,
be
dude.
economy seats
Yeah.
on the
So we'll have to
supersonic flights.
wait.
yeah.
mean-
We're gonna have to wait a while, and this all has to do, I believe, with business. Money coming in. It's all money, but that would be cool if you can afford it.
Yeah, definitely. Of course.
$20,000 ticket to go 2 days somewhere for 2 days and come back.
I mean, if you got the money to throw out,
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Screw it. Exactly.
I would do it.
Do you want to throw out your money?
I could have breakfast in Japan. I could have dinner in London.
Well, I mean, time's your most valuable resource.
but
so I would definitely.
We've
dish out the
talked
money.
about this before, right? We'd rather have helicopters. Yo, you guys want to grab dinner in Colorado real quick? You guys want to grab dinner in fucking Jersey? Wait, can you actually take a helicopter to Jersey
That would
from
take
here?
so fucking
That,
long.
yeah, that would take forever.
Yeah, that would
dude.
take
You would have to
forever.
refuel. I don't
You'd have to
even
refuel
think.
so many times
Yeah.
from point A to point B.
You can get there in a span of a week though if you take your time.
It
Bro,
would
I'm
take,
not trying
no, it
to.
would take less than a week if you were to take a helicopter, but it would still take
I'm not
like
trying to make an Oregon
probably 2 to
Trail
3 days.
expedition
Oregon Trail expedition
through the air.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna spend
Like,
3 years.
or
Zayd's gonna
private
get
jets.
there. He's gonna have a wife, a
Yeah.
kid, like
Yeah,
I
we'll
don't
just
know
get
how I
we'll get
ended up
jets
here.
at that point, dude. A private jet,
private jet.
get some baguettes.
No, there's actually services where you can pay for private jets. Like, so there's no point to own one, really.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's
And
like a $5,000 for basically anywhere in the country if you want to fly per person, which is expensive. Don't get me wrong, but like private jet, you're moving faster than commercial travel and in a much more luxurious seat. If you got the money to burn,
do it.
why not?
Yeah,
Right? Send it.
you know, screw the Aventador. Get the private jet. One day, that's all you need.
Big flexing.
Big flags.
Flexing out here, bro.
Now I've been doing some research into like new medical shit that's been going on.
Like NU medical. I'm
NU.
kidding. You know how there's like the new genres of medical.
NEU.
NEU.
No, but I've been looking
Yeah.
into just new medical technologies and stuff like that. For example, one of them is gene therapy through the usage of virus transmission, right?
Okay.
So I think they're called andioviruses or andrioviruses. I'm pretty sure it's andio though.
Mhm.
And these scientists, they figured out a way to insert this gene therapy into these viruses, and then they inject them in this instance onto the retinas, excuse me, of people who have this genetic disorder where it causes your retinas to deteriorate as you grow older, right?
Okay.
And so it's primarily used for children. That's when it's most effective, right? Because your eyes are still working, they're still functional, right?
Mhm.
And they put this gene in there. It changes the genetic makeup of your eyes and like how they work, and then they're able to react to specific lights, and it can or specific types of light, and then it helps your eyes be healthy for longer, right?
Mhm.
This instance was a little different, right? So these doctors or scientists rather, they figured out that there's specific type of algae reacts to green light, right? Like if you shine a green light onto a petri dish, like one side of it, and it's filled with this algae, the algae will eventually bunch up to the side where the light is shining, right? And so they're like, we could use that, right? Because they
Mhm.
figured out that the way that they interact with light is similar to how neurons like fire and interact with one another.
Yeah.
So they found the specific gene or the trait that the algae used to react to that light. They took that out, put it into the virus, and they injected it into the eyes of this man who's 60 years old and has that rare genetic condition, right?
Mhm.
So his eyes haven't worked for 40 years. He hasn't seen anything for 40 years, right? They inject this into his eyes over the course of like a month or two. You know, the gene therapy, it starts to take its course, right? And then they bring him in, and then they have instead of green light, when it enters into mammal cells, right, it
Mhm.
reacts better with blue light.
Okay.
So then they start flashing these blue lights into his eyes, which you can't see, so it's not going to do any more
Yeah.
damage, right? And then over time, the rods and cones in his eyes, they started to function again with that blue light, right? Because the genetic makeup they put into there interacted with the cells in his eyes, and so now they start to react with blue light being present, right?
Oh my god.
So here's the crazy shit: man hasn't seen for 40 years. They give him this gene therapy which is introduced through viruses. Let it work its course. Couple months in, flash those blue lights, and within a couple weeks, he starts to see the outlines of shapes.
Oh my god. Otherwise known as like basically highlights of edges.
Yes,
That's insane.
he saw after 40 years of
Dude,
seeing
It's
nothing.
magic.
That's literally magic. Like
That is insane.
like if there's no dude, the science community is out of this world.
Literally,
Literally.
and metaphorically.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like how do you even big I'm not in the science field, so I would imagine how do you begin? But at the same time, they obviously probably have like a baseline of knowledge.
They
to
do.
start somewhere.
Like, I think the original concept, right, was brought on by do you know what CRISPR is by chance?
CRISPR? No.
Yeah. So CRISPR is one of the leading ways that you can utilize gene therapy in people. It's still experimental. They're working out all the kinks, obviously, but like one of their biggest or like brightest examples, I guess you could say, was certain jellyfish. They glow in the dark,
Mhm.
right? So they're building up in their skin, right? They build up all of this UV light, whatever. It reacts within the cells in the jellyfish skin or whatever membrane, whatever it's called. And then at night they glow, right? So these scientists, they're like, can we take that gene and put it into something else?
Mhm.
So they take CRISPR, right? They get that specific gene, they attach the gene to the CRISPR, and then the CRISPR goes into your uh, cellular DNA strain, right? Takes out certain building blocks, so the adenine, thymine, guanine, or cytosine, right? The ATCG building blocks, the proteins that make you,
Yes.
essentially.
Yeah.
It takes some of those out, right? And this is in early fetal development, right? This is not while, you're grown up, right? So they take out those cells, they put in new ones, right? And in this case, it was in rabbits. So they take that glowing gene, put it into the rabbits grow up, right? And now they shine the lights on the rabbits all day, turn the lights off, now they glow green.
Oh my god.
I'll pull up a photo for you guys
It's
after this podcast.
Yeah.
It's bizarre to
Yeah.
look at. It looks like they seriously sprayed them down with like glow in the dark paint, but it's actually their skin and hair that's like glowing.
That's insane.
And
And
so,
now okay, here's a question.
Yeah.
For religious people, do you think they have a problem with that? Because
highly,
that's playing God.
they highly have a problem with that.
yes, well, I was about to ask a question. Does that go side to side with genetic mutation?
That's
basically?
exactly what it
basically
is.
Gene splicing and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is in essence.
Yeah. I mean, anything where you play God is basically just
It's a big no-no in
it's
the
a big
religion
no-no.
world.
Yeah. Yeah. And at the same time, like let's just put that aside. It can be a disaster. It
Oh, yeah.
really
Oh
can.
yeah, that's why I'm like, that's why they're working out.
And that's
the
why I
kinks.
don't blame them.
Mhm.
It's like why why risk something if you could just avoid it, you know?
Well, the idea is you can basically
It can be
you
very
can
beneficial.
remove a lot of quote unquote inefficiencies, like certain diseases, certain genetic diseases.
Yeah, you can permanently eradicate certain diseases like genetic diseases like for example Alzheimer's. You can get rid of that completely. You can get rid of that genetic eye thing I was talking about. You
Mhm.
can get rid of that in people entirely. You can get rid of a whole bunch of different
That's a
genetic
major
disorders.
incentive.
It's well, yeah. That's the thing. I mean, I don't know how to answer that question. I can't really speak for religious people, but
I
Yeah,
can.
I mean,
I
it's
can.
just,
They don't like it. They
yeah.
do not like the concept.
I would
at
have to
all.
assume that they don't like it, based
Yeah.
off of what I know, because, but at the same time, like logically speaking, why? Like, if something is a tool, you can use it wisely,
Mhm.
right? It. The problem to me is if it falls to the wrong hands. If it falls into the wrong hands, we've seen it over and over again. It's power.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, because the whole theory of what you can do with it is right. Like you can take genes out of certain animals or species, right, that have a higher bone density.
Mhm.
Then you could put that into humans. So it's like now, like our bone structure, we're more resistant to falls and stuff like that,
Mhm.
right? Or another one is you could take like the genetics out of, let's just say the muscle development or like how muscles form on like a chimpanzee. It's like corded steel, right? They're
Yeah.
just jacked. You take that, you can put it into humans, and now it's like you have perfect physical specimens coming out. But then again, that might also cause your body to disform, like to form more similarly to that of an ape, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
agree.
That's why they're working out the kinks,
Yeah.
as I said. But yeah, religious people don't like that,
Yeah.
like at all.
Yeah.
They view it as a form of playing God. But I've always wondered, like, do religious people view uh like bionics as like playing God? Like for example, if you come up with a way like an artificial heart, for example,
Yeah.
right? Like I forget one of my friend's uncles, he had a I think was it a pacemaker, but essentially he didn't have a pulse because he just had a machine in his body that was constantly pushing blood.
Mhm.
So it's like if you put an Apple Watch or just like one of those things that checks your pulse, it was 0.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
That's why it's a tricky question.
Mhm.
Like
I really don't think they care.
I don't think you should be like too quick to just be like, "Oh, this is blasphemous."
No, most people are not going to be like that because it's self-interest at the end of the day. Like if
Yeah,
you're getting a
because
new
then-
heart and it means you survive longer, they're not going
Then
to care.
if that's the case, then don't get a nose job, don't get plastic surgery, stop doing this, stop doing that, stop doing
Yeah.
everything, right? Just accept yourself, right?
I think the hardcore religious people are actually opposed to plastic surgery too, because it's like you're ruining what God created. you're not as the designer intended. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Same thing with tattoos. It's over and over with many things with
Hmm.
religiousness.
Religiousness.
The religious realm,
The religious realm. That's my favorite realm right
The religious realm.
the spiritual realm.
there. It is a spiritual realm. That's what it is.
Of course, yeah.
The hell.
It wouldn't exist
We're
if it
trying to
wasn't.
trick.
I mean, that's
we're
what
trying
it
to trick
all-
each other. That's what.
That's what it all is in essence, right? It's just like, I mean, it's faith based. It's like what you want. So that would be the spiritual aspect of it, right?
Yeah, like you could be very spiritual about flat Earth. You know.
No, he's right. Like, because
No.
what is spirituality at the
connection.
end of the
No.
day? It's just trying to connect to a whole greater than yourself.
Yeah. But then people started laughing when people were like, obeying cows and shit back in the day.
Yeah.
What
We
do you
were
mean?
like LMAO. That's
You're talking
not
about
God.
like
yeah,
Hindus' views on cows.
yeah, like
Okay.
like other religions would like pass by and they'd be like LMAO. That's not cool.
LMAO.
That's not the right God, or like let's say you call that a God. I don't know. It's just who cares? Mind your own business,
Yeah.
right? Like if
Mhm.
you have a belief, you have a belief. Go follow it. Don't follow.
Well, unless
you
it's
don't have
like
to
a
make
really
jokes.
shitty belief, don't follow that.
No, there are definitely degrees to like how shitty a belief can be.
Yeah, but if you believe it so hard, you're obviously convinced of something. So
But I mean, like,
I don't. Why
like-
would I waste my time and energy?
well, that actually it
Just
brings up
someone-
an interesting question right now with a specific type of religion. I don't know if you know about this, but do you know of the Church of Satanism?
Church of Satanism, is that
Yeah.
beyond masonry, Masonic?
No, it's just a like in a sense a normal church, and they're the one that they identify with or follow is Satan because they feel as if he's misunderstood or there's like
Oh,
Oh,
some
did you hear that from
'cause he's a
was it a
fallen
JRE
angel.
episode?
No.
Who- I remember
read an-
hearing that like a few weeks ago.
No, I read an article about it. Essentially, the Church of Satanism is getting upset with the U.S. government because they're not getting granted the same rights of Is it the same religious practice rights? Where essentially, like how the Catholic Church and the Islamic faith, like they don't have to pay taxes on their
Mm.
buildings, right? Because it's faith based. That's what they're practicing, right?
Yeah.
So the Church of Satanism believes they have a large enough following to get those same benefits, right? And then the government doesn't want to give it to them because they feel as if a faith where you follow Satan, like because we're so Christian or Catholic oriented in this country, would be a bad thing,
Yeah,
right?
like everyone accepts Satan as Satan and
Like,
God as
you would
God.
think-
Whether
You would think that
That's-
religion is based on like, oh, murder everything, kill every or whatever.
Yeah.
But if I understand it correctly, they're just normal people who just happen to worship the devil.
yeah, like
and they got some
Yeah.
weird practices that go on here and there.
Yeah, I'm
but it's
sure.
like- I mean, like if you think about it, like you drink the blood of Jesus every time you go to church, like that's what the wine is representative of, and you eat his body when you take the communion or the bread, right?
It's a pretty gnarly thing, gnarly idea.
yeah,
Yeah, and when you're young, you don't even think about it too. You're just
No,
like,
give me the
"Oh,
bread, give me the bread,
yeah,
give me the wine.
I'm gonna get drunk.
Come on,
I'm
bro, let me
thirsty."
get buzzed.
I'm
Just trying to
thirsty.
enjoy
It's
my
basically-
Sunday session here.
Basically, just water with grape juice. Like,
Oh my god, Welch's.
Welch's grapes. I got that good shit, that Welch's.
they put some
man.
cranberry in there just to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Add some more acidity. Like, ooh, this one has
Ooh,
bite to
Yeah.
it.
Damn.
That's some good wine, preacher. What's in there?
You're fucked up when you choose a church based off of the bread. Yo, this bread.
Is this
yo,
sourdough
they have
or-
sourdough
Yo,
over
this
here.
gluten-free?
Your communion wafers hit, dude.
Why do you commute an hour to church? Because, dude, the bread.
Also, I don't like. Why can't they use real bread? Have you ever had a communion wafer?
I
Like,
mean,
I'm
I've
just- I'm
never-
just curious.
No.
I've never.
Like, they all taste like styrofoam. Like, it literally has the consistency and flavor of a packing peanut.
well,
Well, if you're basing it on the idea that it's Christ's flesh, it's not supposed to taste good.
yeah, but
right.
I mean, it tastes like.
Right?
No, my point is, it tastes like plastic. Like
yeah,
back in the day,
it's not
they
an
u-
enjoyable
Back
experience.
in the day, they used to use real bread, like actual
Oh,
loaves
bro.
of bread. And now it's like, yeah, we use these little wafers because it saves on money. And you're like, all right, for sure.
that point was really stupid, but it makes so much sense.
Well, it's not stupid.
It's not
though.
supposed to taste good.
It's
you're
like-
not wrong,
It's
but
like, you walk into a church and you see Jesus hanging on the cross.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to be an enjoyable thing to look at.
it's
It's
supposed
a
to,
reminder.
yes, of what he went through
It's
for
a
you.
reminder of the suffering that he went through, so that you can take that into your everyday life.
yeah.
Or better yet, it's the reminder of the endurance that he had during that moment, the passion of Christ, as it's
Mhm.
referred to. And the reason why it's the passion is he was giving himself up for the world. Like he was God's son. Well, that's the concept at
He
least.
died for your sins.
Literally, like that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Is like he usurps everything bad that you have done if you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior.
You know, I have a very, I find most tradition I find distasteful. I get the reasoning behind it, but it's just like, why are we following these old rules and archaic systems?
I think you said the word tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
People have
Tradition-
habits.
That's just me personally. Yeah.
All a tradition is a habit carried over time.
Yeah.
Like I understand the tradition of, having the combination of raw fish and ginger because you might get a parasite. There's a high likelihood you'll get a parasite if you don't have ginger because it's anti-parasitic.
He is correct.
Yeah.
But there are other traditions that I just look at it and I'm like,
Tradition.
what? Why?
Like what? Give me an example of a tradition you're just like that grinds your gears.
Yeah.
What gets the blood boiling in Zaid?
I'm gonna have to think now.
He's like, I hate Christmas.
Oh my God, Christmas! I despise that.
Hey, when I was younger,
Halloween. What the fuck is the point of Halloween? Okay, yeah, we can gather and eat a lot of candy, but
Now, Halloween started off as a pagan tradition.
well, yeah, but
It wasn't-
there's no net positive to Halloween right now in current
You lost a lot of subscribers
in
by
the
saying
current
that.
state of culture. I don't give a fuck.
People have a weird affinity for Halloween. I'll give you that though.
because they're addicted to sugar.
No.
No, it has nothing to do with
No,
sugar.
Well,
actually.
because
It
no,
has
I'm
nothing
the
to do
people
with
I'm talking.
sugar.
The people I'm talking about are adults. They don't go trick or treating anymore. So it's like,
They like to party.
yeah, they go party, but there's for a lot of them, it's something else. It's like
Community.
it's having a moment, or it's like having a night where you can be somebody other than yourself. It's kind of like a masquerade, like
okay.
the masquerade balls they used to have back in the
Okay,
day.
I can get that.
To a degree, it's got like a similar feel for people. Our
Very
age.
true. Yeah.
At least that's the explanation I've always gotten. I mean, I've also talked to people where they're like, I love the gallantry of Halloween and I love the aesthetics and
Yeah.
the colors and it's the right time of year. Like that's what they're
I
about.
love that. For me, you know how I look at it? It's a pit stop. It's a pit stop before all the breaks start to come in to your
Mhm.
life. You know, Christmas break, all that stuff,
Mm.
Thanksgiving. It's just you're getting closer and you feel it. So Halloween is that like pit stop to like, all right, let's celebrate the coming days.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You're partying. The whole month is just kind of like, oh, everything's Halloween themed. So every Saturday, you're either at someone's house or you're doing something that's Halloween themed. And I think it's really cool. And I think it's very necessary, actually, as human beings, to have things like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like masquerades, those were cool. Like it's something you would look forward to, you know? You have
Mhm.
your mask of selection that you and your lady are gonna wear.
Like,
Yeah.
like, what's your favorite holiday, Saeed? Because I know you hate all of them because you hate joy. But what's
No,
your
no, I don't hate all of them. Don't get me wrong here. Come on.
My favorite holiday?
Fucking dickhead.
Zayd hates joy.
Well,
I
it
hate
depends. Do you mean
happiness.
national holiday?
Just any holiday.
Any holiday.
Like I was going to imagine like Eid is.
Eid is pretty up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because that's when the whole family gets involved. If I personally get involved, I get involved with a lot of things. So
Mm-hmm.
I do like well, I don't know. It's very tough because I've had Eid here and I've had it in multiple countries
Yeah.
as well.
It is lit in the Middle East.
And
Oh, I
in
can
the Middle
imagine.
East,
Nothing
it
compared
is
to
lit
here.
because it's America's or it's their
Fourth
Christmas.
of July.
Yeah.
Fourth
So
of
the whole
July, I think, is
country,
better.
you could feel it in the whole country. right?
Yes.
Here, you don't really feel it. Same thing. You go, people are still waiting for their Monday morning Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to work. You know, we just took the day off.
Yeah.
But I would have to say Christmas, dude. And I would like to relate it to Eid because it's the same thing. It's a time of giving gifts and it's a time of celebration and you deserve this and all that stuff. And I can feel it as a nation. So I would have to say Christmas, honestly.
I'd say the best holiday, like in America at least, is Thanksgiving. And a lot of people would disagree with me on that. A lot of people. And I don't blame them
Yeah.
because it kind of seems like a worthless holiday. You just gather and eat food, but it's like I like the concept behind it. You gather because you want to give thanks or patronage to like the people you love, the people who got you through that year, you know, and you all celebrate and have a communal feast with one another.
I love that. And
Yeah.
that is something I want to do with the closest group of like my friends
Yeah.
is to
Oh,
never
Friendsgiving?
stop having dinner parties.
Oh,
dude.
for sure.
Once
Yeah.
a week.
For
I don't
sure.
care, bro. Bring your wife, your dog. I don't care.
Yeah, bring them over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally. And I don't even have to host all the time. You know what I mean? I can
Mhm.
host and then the other person will host and then I know the other person will. And it's just,
Exactly.
well, it'll be a constant like, yo, dude, we work our ass off. We'll get this one day to just like lose our shit
Hmm.
and then go back to normal.
I feel like if you like Thanksgiving or not wholly depends on how cool your family is. Like if you hate your family and your family is very toxic, that's going to be a really shitty holiday for you.
there's
Very
a
true.
there's a quote by Ram Dass. He says, "If you think you're enlightened, spend a week with your family." And that's very fitting because
That's
it's
true.
true.
It's the most love-hate relationship.
It's like you become so complacent with the people that you're closest to, with the people you share blood with, that it's very easy, at least in modern culture, to grow resentment for that.
Well, it's also like your family will tell you shit or say shit to you that they will not say to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like certain behaviors exhibited at home will never exit the home. Like, so essentially, it's like, the air quote real version of that person.
Yeah.
And you know that when they go out, they're putting on a masquerade, you
Mhm.
know, put on those masks, dancing around for people.
It's just a good time, man. Don't lose your inner child. That's really what it goes down to. Because if you start to lose it, then you're just gonna lose interest in Halloween. You're gonna lose interest in that. Keep it around. I think it's very beneficial for sanity.
I think I stopped trick or treating when I was like 9 or 10. Like, because I didn't like candy.
Yeah.
And I never liked going out. Like, I didn't like getting scared. I didn't
Mhm.
like the idea of Halloween, even when I was young. So it's like, it was not my holiday.
Yeah.
Also, let's talk about a real holiday that just is the fucking worst
What?
out of all of them. The worst holiday for America currently, aside from Columbus Day, that one's really stupid for a whole number of reasons. But like the stupidest of all of them, Valentine's Day.
Mhm.
Makes no
Yeah,
sense.
I don't get that
It was a
shit.
holiday started by a greeting card company. Like, how
It's
ridiculous is
purely
that?
based off of like marketing. And,
Yeah, the term Hallmark holiday exists because
Yeah.
of Valentine's Day.
Wow.
So it's
Did not know that.
yeah, I
It's a
think
new
everyone's
fact.
stupid as shit. It's
Th-
like, hey babe, I'm gonna buy you chocolates and flowers for one day of the year. I could do that any day I want. Like, think about that for a minute.
Wait, hold on, hold
It's-
on.
And
Hold
here's
on.
what's fucked. Here's what's fucked. If you don't do it during Valentine's Day, you're seen as like a piece of shit.
By who?
Yeah, but
Let's say you're in a relationship with, you have a young lady you're in a relationship with. If you don't do anything for Valentine's Day, it's so ingrained in the psyche, or at least the American psyche and culture, that you have to do something, that you get seen as the bad guy if you don't.
I think it depends on like the girl you're
It
with.
definitely does, but like, let's say you could do things for most of the year that are very uh, conducive to a healthy relationship. But if you don't do it on that one day, they'll pick up on that one bad day, and then
Ah, yeah.
sad truth, kind of.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been a Valentine's Day guy because I'm like, I'll take you out to dinner whenever you want. Like, just let me know,
Yeah.
Like, if you want to plan it for Friday, Saturday, I'll make the time for it.
Mhm.
Like, we'll set it aside. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
I'll bring you home flowers. Like, whenever I want to, I'll bring you home a little gift.
Yeah. Well,
Whenever, is right. Like, why do I have to save it for one day?
Yeah.
That seems stupid. Like, your love should last throughout the whole year. Like, it shouldn't be personified because it's
and the only
Valentine's
day you actually get like reservations for birthday. That's it.
Mm.
I don't like my birthday, but I'll celebrate the shit out of somebody else's though.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
I'm whatever about
It is
my
weird.
birthday.
No one likes their birthday, bro.
That is
Really?
not true. That is
So-
not true at all. I
Unless
know
you're-
people that they
It's
have a
not-
birthday month, bro.
Oh my
It's-
No, no,
God.
Yeah.
it's not that I don't like it. It's just I'm indifferent to it.
It gets me to think, and then I start hating it. That's what I hate about birthdays.
I like the
I'm,
thinking
I'm
part.
actually with Zayd. I'm more indifferent to it. I used to hate it, but I've grown to a point where I'm like, it's just a day.
It's a day of
literally
reflection,
day.
if anything.
It's literally a day. And yeah, you're right, because the older that I got, all it does is just boosts my appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
I know who exactly belongs in my life at that point.
That's true.
Really what it is. And the thinking part is good, but it also can be detrimental. Like, I've had a really shit birthday before.
Yeah.
Like panicky.
Yeah.
You know? Like you're just like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I do not feel well. I don't want to be here.
Why is that? That's an interesting
That sounds like my
it's-
past 6 birthdays. I'm gonna be
Well, I've
real.
had that too. Which
I
is
don't know what it
interesting.
is, but it's like it's the birthday blues, dude. Like that's why I think a majority of the people just actually feel terrible on their birthday.
I feel like a lot of people have this expectation that their birthdays should be celebrated by everyone around them, and they don't base it on themselves. Like they don't celebrate it themselves in their own unique way.
Yeah.
So then when people don't meet their expectation,
Yeah.
then they just feel into this like depressive fucking mood.
Yeah, but that's our psyche. We know. So we know it's our birthday, right? Whether you want to treat it as a day or not, we know it's your birthday. So that thought's going to linger on the side. It's going to be like there's a desk, all right? And you got your computer, you got your mouse and keyboard, and that's what you're primarily using. But at the same time, you still have your birthday right there. And you know it's there.
It's in the
And
back of your
whatever's
head, yeah.
happening this day, you're making mental notes of,
Mhm.
right? This guy texted me. This guy texted me. This dad didn't. My mom didn't text me. It's weird. My dad texted me though.
Comes down to community.
And then people
yeah.
are like, "What are you doing tonight?" And people are acting like, "Oh, sus," and just like weird and all this stuff. And then you're like, "I wonder if anyone's surprising me."
Mhm.
Not, what's going on? And then whatever happens, happens, and then you take it in the moment. You don't really think about how it's going to go down, and then you start getting depressed. Something happens, and it just clicks.
Yeah.
For me,
It's not a
like-
process. I don't. It's
It's
just
like
weird.
when I was
It's very
younger, I
weird.
used to get upset to a degree because people, it's like, nobody texted me on my birthday. Like,
Yeah.
no one even gives a shit, man. And I'm like,
Yeah.
But it's like I was getting upset about that. But the older I get, I'm like, yeah, I didn't tell anybody it was my birthday.
Yeah.
Like I'm not reminding people
Yeah.
because I didn't feel like at the time, and I still don't, that I need to remind people it's my birthday.
Yeah. Is that even a mature thing to do? Like,
Well, it's like, I mean, I was upset about it, but I didn't tell anybody I was upset about it.
so you're
like,
like, "Oh, I'm to blame."
But it's
yeah.
based on the
Well, I learned that later
Yeah.
in life.
it's based on the expectation that people are thinking about you instead of themselves.
Exactly.
People are always thinking about themselves.
Yeah. And then I was like, now, currently, at 22, like a good birthday for me is like get up, go on a hike, go on a walk, go to
Literally.
the gym,
Dude,
go home,
Nice dinner with
Just
friends.
period.
do some shit. Nice dinner with friends, or like just stay in my house and be like, my mom's like, what do you want? And I'm like, steak, broccoli, mashed potatoes, and gravy.
there you
She's
What
go.
like,
more
do you
do you
want
need in
do you want a
life?
cake? I'm like, yeah. Get me the Betty Crocker yellow cake mix and don't put any icing on top of it,
Yeah.
just the cake.
I love that.
And then I'll take a wedge of it. I'll put it in some milk. That'll be like the one time a year I'll like actually have milk. And then I just put the cake wedge in there and it absorbs it and it kind of becomes like this tres leche cake kind of vibe. You put a little bit of cinnamon on top just to top it off.
Bro, get the hell out of here.
Then I get in bed at like
Yeah.
9:30, 10:30, watch
Mhm.
something on Netflix, and I'm out. That's
Yeah.
that's a good birthday for me nowadays.
I feel you.
Plus,
I
we're men, so we're
100%.
more stoic with that kind of
Of course, yeah. And honestly, I take care of myself. I really do.
shit.
Like,
Self-love.
for example, if I wake up that morning and I want to drive, I'm not
Go
working
drive.
for nothing. I'm gonna go rent a car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want to do something this day,
Mhm.
and I will do that.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
start going to a
I'm not gonna
fucking
rely.
spa on my birthday, bro.
That could be
Yeah.
sick.
A glass of wine and a spa. Bro.
So,
That might be
yeah,
that's a vibe.
coming from a younger age, right? As you grow older,
Mhm.
you realize that convenience and you rely on people too much, and you rely on their convenience.
Yeah.
And you start to realize that these people that you think are very close to you are actually very convenient at the time. That's exactly the reason why you guys kick it, right? Once you start venturing out, then you're going to realize that there is quality relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to go out and seek it. Convenient hangouts are not the move anymore.
No.
Just because we both live in the same city doesn't mean
That we
you
have to hang out
we
every
have
day.
to hang out every day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's very toxic.
Yeah, I was actually thinking. Funny that you bring that up. I was
Yeah.
like thinking about that, like a year or two ago. I
Mhm.
was like having that thought because it was like I was always hanging out with this group or that group, and it was like I was always, I always had like friends going on, and I'm like, as time dwindles on, it was like you started to see them less and less, and you're like, is something wrong with me? And you're like, or is like, did I push myself away? And in some cases, yes, like I did, but at the same time, you have to realize like you're just different people.
Yeah.
You just after a while, you just grow, you develop, you realize you liked, they're still a good person. You'll still say hi to them, like, and if you ever see each other in person, it's like comfortable, fun, whatever. But you don't need to see them every day,
Yeah.
right? And so you just span out, you branch off, you do your own thing. People become their own person.
And then you have the relationships where they're like, it's not convenience anymore. It's just more, we have the same exact hobby that we like to do.
Yeah.
So, for example, you see that a lot in like jujitsu classes, fighting classes, gyms,
Mhm.
gym partner. Like they'll never hang out outside the gym.
No, but when
But
you're
they're
in there, you're home.
You're homies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes, like I used to know two older guys, actually. They were like both in their 60s. And they were only friends because they played chess and smoked cigarettes. Nothing, you would never see them together outside that perspective. Like,
And there's
that
nothing wrong
environment.
with that too.
There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
There's
Those
nothing wrong with that.
those are great bonds. That's like having. It's like there was this Arabic poet. I forgot his name, but he used to talk about the differences. He used to break down relationships, and he would break them down into words, which are companion, a friend, partner,
Acquaintance.
acquaintance. You have a different kind of partner, even business partner. You have all kinds of things. Lover. Those are all different,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you break down things more, it just helps you like understand things and grasp onto it and just understand it earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
We think too general, right? Oh, I hate this relationship. Okay, what kind of relationship is it? You know, no one ever asks that question. What kind of relationship is it?
Yeah.
It's not a
Mhm.
question you hear. And I think we need to start. I personally think we need to start thinking more like that. You know, break things down. Use what are those bubbles called? Brainstorming bubbles,
Mm.
right? Where you have the main relationship, and then break that shit down, right?
Mhm.
It's gonna show you the differences in everything, right? Companion is gonna relate to a lover in some way, but at the same time, that's not what it means.
Mhm.
Your lover also might be an acquaintance.
Exactly. They can link up into like multiple forms, which is crazy.
I feel like lover can branch off into essentially every one of those. It could be like a sub branch of every other
Yeah.
category.
Of course.
Well,
Because like your lover could be an acquaintance, it could be a companion, it could be a partner, it could
Mhm.
be whoever,
business
right?
partner.
Yeah.
And And it all the book on top of that stack, Social by Matthew D. Lieberman, that talks about how the reason we evolved as a species is not because we learned how to cook meat or because we had the ability to throw. It's because of our social cohesion,
Mhm.
because our ability to form bonds and then try to quote unquote conquer the world.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Like for example, me and Zaid went on a trip. I didn't know how it was gonna go. I've never been on a trip.
that was a
Acquaintances.
fun ass trip, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So at this point, we are partners, friends.
Well, yeah, it all
And
mixes
now,
together. Like
after that trip, I can easily
Lovers.
say, love. No, I'm just kidding.
what the fuck is
Companions.
going on?
Companion.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You're a great person to travel with. You know. I know I have one of my best friends, dude. I can't travel with him. I know that for a fact.
no, some people you can't travel with.
I
just
love
start-
you,
start
but
to
we cannot travel
bitch
together. Like
about
it's gonna cause
everything.
so many issues, and it might ruin the relationship. You know?
Mhm.
Zayd is a good travel companion. Like I can speak to that too when we were driving to
Why is it?
Colorado.
Yeah.
Because you don't say much when we're driving.
He's a
and then-
puppy.
no, I wouldn't say that. It's like when we're
Puppy, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
bro.
No, it's like because Zayd's cool with like when we're on a car trip, especially when we were going to Colorado. It was like a 15, 16-hour drive.
Yeah.
It was like when there was times where we were just silent. You didn't need to say anything because there was nothing to be said.
Mm-hmm.
Just cruising. Then 30 minutes after that, somebody has a thought. Like either he does or I do, and then you pop it off and you start talking about that for 20 to 30 minutes. Let it die out. Got like an hour of silence. You turn on an audiobook, turn on like some podcast, something like that. Maybe the 2 a.m. podcast.
Yeah. And not a single complaint. You guys are both on the same wave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Here's
I
the
love
thing,
that.
because when you travel, I go into it, everything is going to be new. Okay, everything is going to be novel. So most of the time I'm observing, I'm trying to I'm looking at the landscape, learning as much as I can. And then besides that, it's just basic like social skills. Like listen, there's
Yeah.
a time and place for conversation. There's also time to shut up and just enjoy the view.
Yeah.
It's
Like
true.
you're out. So you're not gonna take your California brain and just be like, I'm gonna take this with me everywhere. I'm gonna take all my debt and I'm gonna take all my crap and I'm gonna take my computer and I'm gonna take everything that I know that exists there and take it with me to travel. Well, I'm sorry, but that's not traveling anymore.
Plus, like for example, here's a good example. When
It's
he
worrying
plays
on
And
the
that's
road.
that's the part that cancels the companion. Because we're clearly on different mindsets right now.
yeah, like usually I don't listen to country music, for example.
Yeah.
When he puts it on, I'm enjoying it
Yeah.
because it's a new experience.
And
This is part of this.
I'm not bitching.
Also,
Why
too-
don't you put on some Offset or something
Yeah.
No,
like that?
let's
you know?
be
Offset.
real too. It's
Yeah.
not like modern day stadium country. It's like some older shit, like usually from the 40s to the
Okay.
It
in
mat-
some cases the 80s.
That's fair.
It
That's fair.
matches
It's
the
good music.
vibe. It
Yeah,
matches
like-
the
like
the
we're cruising
experience.
through the Arizonan desert. It's like a beautiful day, sun's up in the sky, just cruising through. I'm like, I'm gonna turn on some Hank Williams, some Andy Williams, like some, just some
Mhm.
OG good honky tonk
Yeah.
country.
Why, hello there.
Hello walls.
Honky tonk.
It's been a
Hello.
long, long time. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Dude,
And also they tell it like those songs too. Like, sorry, I'm now on that country.
they tell a
shit.
story.
They do, and it's usually very emotional. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember who, but I just went to Vegas recently with my buddy Sean from Oklahoma, and he's, if you're talking about the friends, companions, whatever, he's a friend because I know that for a fact. Because every single time I see him in person, it was like the moment it was like we never left, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
right? It's like when I show up, it might as well have been I walked to the bathroom and came back,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is super cool.
I love
right?
that.
So we got to Vegas, we're chilling, and I wish I could remember the country artist and the songs that he's gonna get so mad at me when he hears this. But he turned one of them on, and it was so heartbreaking. Like, just I mean tears, like a tearjerker song.
Oh my God.
And God, I wish I could remember, but he was writing about his mom, who has dementia, and I think the song was called like "Do You Remember?"
Mm.
And it was
That already slaps,
dude, it was something along the lines of like, "Do you remember when I took my first steps? Like, do you remember watching me walk down the aisle at my wedding? Like,
Dude.
Do
aw,
you remember?
man.
when it was like
That is-
September."
Yeah.
Now I really want to hear the song.
I know.
but I'm
I'll,
scared to.
I'll give him a call after the podcast so we can figure it out. But
Please do.
No, it's like country. Here's the thing about country. Like for most Americans, it's actually a very popular genre, right? But like over here on the West Coast, like or on the East Coast, it's like, you're gonna be a cowboy in New York.
Yeah, no,
like,
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's not the vibe.
Yeah.
Like out here, we're like very housey music, rap, like all of those like EDM, like more modern genres and stuff like that. But a lot of stadium country, garbage. Like, I'm sorry, like it's just
Yeah.
it's not for me, and it's all super generic. And ironically enough, a lot of it's turning into rap, which is really
It's
trippy
funny.
to see. But like,
Yeah.
there are still hidden gems, like people who are latching onto like those older styles of country that make excellent music.
It's excellent music. That's all it is. I don't label it as country. I label it as great music.
Yeah.
Speaking of excellence, episode 93.
Hey,
2 a.m. podcast.
Wrapped up, baby.
Guys, you can
Like
find
a
us on Apple
Chipotle
Podcasts,
burrito.
Spotify.
What?
I said wrapped up like a Chipotle burrito.
Anyways, keep going.
All right, guys, if you don't mind, please follow us on YouTube at the 2 a.m. podcast. We also have a 2 a.m. clips channel on YouTube as well. No Vimeo here today.
No, fuck.
Except for that one guy who made a point.
Exactly.
But it might have been on YouTube, so who knows?
Yeah. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, so please leave us a rating, a 5-star review. That would help us drastically. Also, subscribe to us on Spotify because we own that platform, dude.
Yeah.
We own it.
Coming up on episode 100, so.
It's nearing.
Yeah, it's going to be the 2 a.m. experience. Sorry, JRE. And yeah, catch you guys next time. Peace.